This is the Floureon W100 car jump starter. It's available on Amazon and I'll put links in the description below. The reason I decided to get this particular jump starter is because it comes with a built-in air compressor and also because it's got an LCD display, something that I think will prove very useful. It arrives nicely packaged and then everything is stored inside this convenient soft case. Inside the case we've got the jump starter itself, a set of instructions, a DC to DC cable, a set of adapters, a carrying handle, the air hose for the compressor, the car jump starting leads, a UK 3-pin plug to DC adapter for charging the units. We've got a dual cigarette lighter cable which is used for starting the car from inside, and then we've got a cigarette lighter to DC cable for charging the unit up from inside the car. And we've got a USB to micro USB cable. So the power pack has a capacity of 15,000 milliamp hours. It's got a peak output of 500 amps, which should be fine for most engines. It's rated to start 4 litre petrol engines and 2 litre diesel engines, but I'm pretty sure that it would start bigger engines. Out of the box it's saying it's 75% charged, so the first thing I'm going to do is to charge up the jump starter. And it says if it's flat it's going to take up to 5 hours to charge, so I'll just leave that to charge and we'll see what happens when it reaches its fully charged state. Right, so hopefully you can see that that's now saying that charging is complete. And I've just noticed that the screen comes with a protective film. So right, let's have a quick look at the unit. On the face there on the front we've got a mode button, a function button, we've got a button there for turning the light on and off. We've got a button there to start the compressor, and then we've got a minus and plus button for changing various parameters. So I'll go through these function switches later on. If we look at the bottom of the machine, we've got the socket there where the jump start leads go. We've got the 15 volt 1 amp input for charging the unit, the on and off button. We've got 2 USB outputs, and I would ignore iPhone and Android there. I don't think it makes any difference which port you use. And we've also got a DC output of 12 volts, 16 volts and 19 volts. If we look on one side, we've got a cigarette lighter output. We've got the air compressor outlet there, and then we've got the LED light. The other thing to mention is it comes with 4 rubber feet, and it makes it sit very firmly on a hard surface. So when you switch the unit on, it's got 3 modes, and these are selected with this mode button. So the first mode is power bank, the second mode is jump starter, and the third mode is tyre inflator. And if you press the mode button again, it goes back to power bank. So let's have a look at the power bank mode. So once you've actually selected the mode that you want, which is shown in green at the top there on the LCD display, you can use a function button to select various aspects of each mode. So at the moment it's saying it's USB off. So if I press function, it goes to USB output, and that livens up these 2 USB ports. Now I would ignore iPhone and Android. I don't think it makes any difference what equipment you plug in. If I press the function button again, it goes to DC 12 volt output, and again it goes to 16 volt output, and again it goes to 19 volt output. That livens up this port on the right hand side there, which is a DC outlet port, and that port is used with this male to male lead, and also with these DC adapters. It provides a DC supply to equipment that uses these type of DC connectors. So if we press that button again, it takes us to cigar lighter output, and then that powers up this outlet here, which is basically a car cigar lighter output. That will prove very useful for all sorts of things. So after power bank, we've got the jump starter function. Now the jump starter function, you've got 2 options. The first option is to use this cable, which is a cable with 2 cigarette lighter connections on the end there. One plugs into this side of the power pack and the other one plugs into the cigarette lighter in the car, and then what you do is partially charge the battery actually using this power pack. The voltage will be displayed on this screen to tell you what voltage the battery is at, and they say when it reaches 13 volts then you should attempt to start the vehicle. And the second method is the one that most people would be using anyway, which is to connect these jump start leads. They plug into that socket there. You connect them onto the battery, that into the machine, select jump starter mode, and then you can basically start the car straight away. Now these things have all got a proven track record of starting engines with a flat battery, so I've got no doubt at all that if you went outside and your car had a flat battery, then this unit would start your car. And then the last mode is the tyre inflator. Now this is an airline, it screws into the side of the machine there. I'll demonstrate that later. We'll actually pump a tyre up and see what happens. That is the main reason why I ended up going for this unit, because it's got a built-in air compressor. So those are the three modes. Now the function button obviously allows you to change different parameters in each mode. It changes the units because you can set what pressure this air compressor will pump the tyre up to. PSI will be the one that I'm using, and I would imagine that'll go for most people, but you've also got kPAs and bar. I'll just demonstrate how this jump starter works as a power pack. So at the moment I've plugged in a GoPro camera and an iPad mini. We'll turn on the unit. Let it go through its startup sequence, and straight away you can see that it's put the iPad and the GoPro on charge, so no issues with that at all. So I just want to check the cigarette lighter output, because I can see that being very useful for a lot of people. And then we'll turn the unit on, we'll select straight away the camera comes on, and it's actually gone straight on to record like it should do. So that's now powering the dash cam, so that works. I'll just try it first so that you can see that it's not going to start. That's pancake. Right, so I've connected the power pack to the battery. We'll turn it on. We're on power bank, so I'll go into jump starter mode, and it says clip jump start detecting the chip connection, please wait. So it says clips connected, please start the vehicle within 30 seconds. So let's see what happens. So no problem at all. Then disconnect the starter lead. I'll turn the unit off and then undo the crocodile clips. So that just demonstrates that if you've got a boat or a motorbike or a quad bike or jet ski, anything like that that starts with a 12-volt battery, one of these things will get it started if you arrive somewhere and find out that the battery's flat. So I've just come into one of the cars. I've got the cigarette lighter cable connected there and down into the cigarette lighter on the car. You must remember that on most cars you're going to need to put the ignition on in order to get this thing to work, but you can see there that we've got a voltage reading and a current reading. So the last thing I'm going to check is the inflation function on this particular unit. So that's showing about 32 psi. So what I'm going to do is let some air out of this tyre. Right, so now let's see what happens. We'll turn on the unit. So we'll go to tyre inflator. Now I want the unit to be set at PSI, so I'll press that once and that's PSI, and I'll go plus, and I want it at 32 PSI. Stopped itself at 34. There was a bit of a jump there from what it was reading to where it stopped, but we'll see what we've got on the gauge. Yeah, it's showing about 35, 36. So it's not perfect, but it will certainly bail you out in the event of an emergency. In this small compartment at the back there are some adapters for pumping up various inflatables. So that's it, the Floureon W100 car jump starter. Now this is way more than just a car jump starter. It's a car jump starter, it's a portable power pack, and it's a big portable power pack, so as well as being able to start your car if you've got a flat battery, you can carry this around with you in your vehicle, or if you're out camping or whatever, and run all your electronic equipment on it for a good long time. It's got adapters there so that you can run laptops off it as well. And then the icing on the cake for me is the fact that it's got a built-in air compressor, which is something that could bail you out in more ways than one. You know, if you're driving along, you get a flat tyre, you go into your boot, and as happened to me in the past, you get to your spare tyre and that's also flat, then this thing will pump your spare tyre up and allow you to get your car back on the road and get to your destination. The unit also comes with a built-in light, and it's got different modes. The light will come on, if you press it quickly again it will go into SOS, and then again just a flashing light, which may come useful in the event of an emergency or to attract somebody's attention. There are two reasons why I decided to go for this particular jump starter. The first one was the fact that it's got an inbuilt air compressor, and the second one was the LCD screen. It absolutely transforms one of these having an LCD screen, because it tells you exactly what's going on. You're not relying on an indicator light or anything like that. It's actually written there for you to read what's happening. So I think it's a smashing piece of equipment, and you won't go wrong with this one. It's well made. Love the LCD screen, love the fact that it's got an air compressor, and it does its job. So I hope you found this review useful, and thank you for watching.